Okay, hey everyone. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, I'm your host, Luke Gough. I'm a career coach and recruiter. And today we've got a very special guest joining us. I'm excited to be speaking with Dr. Iretioluwa, a respected leader in cybersecurity, an entrepreneur. She's a mentor. She's built a business that not only advances the industry of cybersecurity, but also creates opportunities for people to break into this field, especially through her mentorship programs. So in this episode, I'm going to be interviewing her. We're going to be diving deep into her journey, the challenges she's overcome, the work she's doing to empower others. And of course, there's going to be lots of practical advice of how you can get started in cybersecurity. So if you're new to the field or you're looking to break in, I definitely recommend watching or listening to this episode. So there'll be lots of insights and let's jump straight in. So Dr. Iretioluwa, it's such a pleasure to have you here today. So, for those who may not know you yet, do you want to start by just giving the audience a bit more about yourself, what you do, particularly in the world of cybersecurity?
Okay, thank you for that, Luke. It's good to be here today and doing this with you. I know we have been planning this for a very long time, and I'm happy to be here. My name is Dr. Iretioluwa. I'm a cybersecurity professional. I see myself as a leader in the field. I've been in this field since 2013 now, so we're talking about 12 years and counting. I wear so many hats in the field of cybersecurity. I see myself as an all-rounder, and I say that because I have good experience in consulting in cybersecurity. I have good experience working in the industry, and of course, I also have good experience in the academic space. So I see myself as someone who has covered the ground when it comes to cybersecurity. Currently, I lecture in a reputable university in the United Kingdom, specifically in Manchester. I teach cybersecurity, and I'm also expanding that to teach other areas, other subject areas this time. Outside of that, I also own my own company, Cyberic Limited. Cyberic is an organization that supports individuals and organizations to achieve their cybersecurity goals. We offer cybersecurity trainings. We also offer cybersecurity services to companies to ensure that they continue to improve their security posture. I also co-founded an organization called Cyberlac. Cyberlac exists to support people to achieve their cybersecurity goals, especially people who are looking to break in, who are looking for work experience in cybersecurity, people who are looking for career guidance and understanding where to go in the area of cybersecurity. So Cyberlac is the organization that has been around for about 4 years now, supporting people to achieve their cybersecurity goals. And largely, one interesting thing that I do is that I'm a cybersecurity career coach and mentor. I see myself as a successful mentor. I mean, in the sense that a lot of people who have supported to date are currently doing well in the field. They're also extending that to others. I see some of them have even taken up leadership roles in cybersecurity now. So, which is for me growth when it comes to mentorship. I run a cohort-based mentorship every year. So when I started, it was between 30 to 40 people. Currently, I've increased that a bit now. I'm looking at 46 to 50 people. So there's growth also in the mentorship bit. So this is largely about me, my career, and what I do.
That's fantastic. You've got so many different things you're doing at the moment, Doctor. And I know that on social media you have a great following. I can see how much you do in in this field, and you have all your mentors that I know look up to you a lot. So I think it's fantastic. But how do you manage to, I suppose you have all these
Have all these.
different avenues going on. Where do you spend, how do you break your time up between that?
That's a very good question. How do I break my time? It's very interesting because, of course, we all have 24 hours in a day, and out of the 24 hours, I sleep roughly, say, 7 to 8 hours every day. Of course, one day spanning to the other. So I spend some time to sleep. I take a walk also in between. If I'm not able to take a walk, I do another form of exercise. So spending time outside of work for me is also very important. And outside of that, I have a family. I'm married with 2 kids, so I also spend time with my family, ensure that we do things together. And sometimes we take time off, and I just leave cybersecurity to focus on them. But outside of all of this, how do I break my time? Every day when I start my day, I first ensure that I check my social media platforms and see if there's maybe anyone who has reached out to me for any kind of help or support. And I try to see, okay, what can I do? I try to respond to them. So I see how best to support them in every platform that I am in. So I start my day by doing that. I also check if I need to post a content. I do that. And then I get to my work for the day. So it depends on what I'm trying to do. For example, I said I lecture. So if I have to go to the university to lecture, or for my company, if I have to do something for my company or for Cyber. So I prioritize based on what is important for me to do. What is that thing that is important for me to achieve? So I'm able to break my time by way of prioritizing what I need to do for that day. And every day is not the same, it changes. So I might be very busy on a particular day based on what I need to do. On another day, I might just have more time on my hands. So it's quite flexible for me. I mean, I manage my time, I own my time, and I'm able to, prioritize what is important and ensure that I get it done. In all of this, because my main aim is to support people, I try as much as possible to ensure that every day before I go to bed, at least one or two people get supported.
Fantastic. And that's, I suppose, the job you have as a mentor. I mean, it will go a long way for these students, particularly people who are new to this field. Because I mean, we'll get to that, but it can be quite daunting trying to get into this. There's a lot of things to consider in cybersecurity and what path you go down. So that's the support you give them is great. Now, I want to get to your mentorship more, but before we do that, I'm sure I'm curious myself, and I'm sure some of your followers on social media might want to know this. But how did you get into cybersecurity? So what take me back to the decision you made when this was the path you wanted to go down. How did that come about?
That's a very good question, and I've responded to this question over and over again. My the way I answer this question is that I didn't choose to go into cybersecurity. It was not something that I sat down and said I want to do it like many people do now currently. A lot of
Yep.
people actually choose. They sit down to say yes, I want to do it, but it was different for me. I didn't choose it. I wanted to do a master's because at that time I was working in the bank, and I was already fed up of the lifestyle at that time.
Mm.
So I wanted to do a master's. And then I said, I already saw a course, business information systems, and I had already applied for the course. The school had gotten back to me with my admission. And then I just had a chat with my friend, and she said, oh, she's studying forensic science in a university in my home country, which is Nigeria. So I went online with that information. I put in on Google at that time masters in forensic. And the first thing that came out was masters in information security and computer forensic, University of East London. And then I didn't know what it was at that time, but I was like, okay, this looks interesting because I just saw forensic there. So I was like, this sounds cool. So I clicked on it and I saw the details. And then I applied. And shortly after I got the admission. And that was how my journey started. I didn't know what to expect. I never, even before then, I never heard anything about cybersecurity. Nobody had said anything to me about it. Nobody had said there's something called InfoSec. I never knew about it because at that time, even in universities, the course, I mean, from my home country, the courses were not there. It was not an option. I
No.
didn't study it at any point in time. So it wasn't something I was aware of, but I stumbled upon it by accident. I went for that course, and that was how the journey started.
Yeah, fantastic. It's interesting because you're right. It wasn't in recent years, and obviously now it's a much bigger thing. There's obviously lots of courses, lots of certifications, lots of studies you can do. But back in the day, it wasn't as prevalent, obviously. And I talk to people a lot about this. Even when I started my recruitment journey, cybersecurity wasn't a big thing, to be honest. It was around, but it wasn't something that people really had a that career path, that career purpose where they said, "I want to go into it." It often was people within the business who moved into cybersecurity, maybe IT audit or IT functions who moved horizontally across into this field. Whereas now, obviously, it's one of the fastest growing industries. So it's interesting to hear that, and I'm sure a lot of people would have enjoyed finding out how you got into it. So In terms of your mentorship program, how would I believe I understand actually that the new cohort, so to speak, has been registered for this upcoming year, right? It's around this September, I think. But do you want to go into a bit more detail about um, a couple of things? Why? How would someone get involved and become one of your mentees? And also the importance of why you started this. Why do you think um, having a mentor is so important in cybersecurity and what you offer for them?
Okay. How to get into my mentorship is first by following me on my social media platform so that you can stay up to date with when the applications open. Just like you said, applications open every September, and that is how it works. So you follow me, it's announced, and then there are two selection process. One on X, there's a space on X that happens in September, and then there's a video pitch submission. So if you miss the space on X, you can then submit your video, and there's a team that would select people. So I have a team that goes through the selection process. Now, why is this mentorship important?
Mm,
For me, why did I start it? I started it because it's very easy for people to say, I want to get into cybersecurity. But a lot of times, without the proper guidance, without the proper direction, it may just be like they are swimming in a large ocean and they don't know what to do. It's very difficult to figure out a lot of things. But with someone holding their hand, with the proper direction, it becomes easy and they're able to get their foot in the door. I've seen this happen time and again with lots of testimonies coming out of the mentorship program. And for me, I think it is very important. What do I offer them? I offer them a 1 year cohort based structured learning where they learn cybersecurity, they learn how to work in a team, they collaborate with other people. They also do a lot of activities. There are so many activities that goes on within that 1 year. Like it is well packed, well structured, and at the end of the 1 year, the expectation is that the mentees should at least have gotten an opportunity in cybersecurity, either a cybersecurity job or an internship or a gig, or even if they have not gotten any of those opportunities, they have a clear direction as to what to do next. So that's the
fantastic.
end goal of the mentorship program.
Yeah, it's excellent. I often see people on X who have will post a message saying, "Thank you, they've received a job." So just to follow on what you said then, at the end of that year, people should expect to have, would you say, enough of a basic understanding to apply for entry level roles? Is that would that be a fair statement?
Yes, yes, that's the
Yeah.
first thing.
That brings us on to I suppose what I want to hear this, but also your audience probably want to hear that. How do you break into cybersecurity? Now, I'm going to ask you a question. If you, let's say hypothetically, you were going to start a fresh career in cybersecurity tomorrow. Okay, so how would you go about that? So if you had none of your previous experience, you're going to start tomorrow. What would you do differently, or what would you do now?
Okay, so if I'm to start a career in cybersecurity, what would I do differently? For me, I think one of the key things I would do differently is to seek a mentor. Why? Because I've seen the importance of mentorship in this field, and I would be interested in having someone who can hold my hand and say, this is the way to go. These are the mistakes to avoid. These are the things to do. So, this is something I'll be interested in doing. Would I still want to go the same pathway, which is the education route that I took? I think for me, the answer is yes. If I have the resources and I'm starting all over again, I would not mind taking a proper education in cybersecurity because of how it's benefited me when I did it. However, it's not everyone that has that resource to pay for a master's or a BSc in a foreign country, but it doesn't mean they cannot do cybersecurity. You can break in by way of education, like I said. You can break in by self-studying. I mean, there are so many resources. There are so many online resources.
Mm,
Cisco NetAcad is a good one. Udemy is another one. Coursera, and so on. Lots of resources where people can get knowledge in cybersecurity and they can tap into that. Another way is by learning from other people who have gone that route and understanding what they do on a day to day and using that as a template. But one thing I always say is that anyone interested in cybersecurity, while they are trying to learn, taking certifications, doing a course, and so on. They should also be checking what is out there in the market. What does a cybersecurity analyst job look like? What does a GRC analyst job look like? And so on, and comparing with the skills that they are gaining so that when they are done learning, they know where they fit in cybersecurity and they can tap into that to look for opportunities.
Yeah. Interesting. And I think you mentioned how you probably would still do your masters, but you feel also that it's not essential for someone if they haven't got the means to do that. Um, I think that there is people do get trapped, I believe, in feeling that they have to get a degree, and I think it's a big topic at the moment that I see out there, and I think the benefits are you could do either. Like you said, I really do believe that. I think you can go down that route absolutely because you're still going to be learning valuable skills, by doing that. But also to the same extent, there's no reason why you can't start at the beginning by with all these courses online. There's so many free resources. There's also, like you said, there's Udemy and there's Coursera. Um, and I always recommend people to look at maybe the Network Plus first as a very basic start because you learn all of the fundamentals of networking. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that because I often think that if you even if you are going down the degree route, by looking at certifications, the Network Plus, the CompTIA Security Plus are excellent choices. But what's your thoughts on the certifications out there and what you advise on them?
Yeah, that's a good question. What's my advice on certifications? I would say that the cybersecurity field is now very competitive. So if you can at least get a certification, my go-to certification is CompTIA Security Plus for people who are looking to get into an entry-level cybersecurity role. And why is that? It's because the CompTIA Security Plus is quite comprehensive and it touches on the basic things that we do in cybersecurity. So by picking that knowledge and that skill, it puts that person at an advantage. I would say that if they can't afford a CompTIA Network Plus or they don't want to take the certification, they should still go through the knowledge.
Mm.
Networking is a very important part in cybersecurity. And like I posted recently on my social media page, I've had to teach networking recently, so it can catch up with you at any time in your career in cybersecurity. So it's not something you want to overlook or you want to escape. It's something that you should be interested in picking the knowledge. Cisco also has a networking basic course for people who are looking to just take a course, not necessarily the certification. Is something they can explore. So what I would say is that in terms of certification, I think to get your foot in the door is actually very important. For me personally, I'm not a fan of writing certifications, and I've said this again publicly. In my career, I have only two certifications. Now I would say I probably don't even need any because
Mhm.
most of the opportunities I get is not really because of the certifications, it's because I've been able to prove my skills over and over again. But my case is different from a lot of people who are just getting in. How do you
Yeah.
stay ahead? I mean, hiring managers are checking who has this, who has that, and they will pick someone who has a certification over
Yep.
someone who doesn't in most cases.
Yep. I agree. And as a recruiter and career coach, but I can say as well, I mean, when I see job specs and I'm looking at mandates that my clients have asked me to find, I, 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, for an entry level or a junior position in cybersecurity, one of the prerequisites is a certification of some kind. And I think, yes, they're extremely valuable. And obviously, they want to see that people have learnt those skills. But if nothing else, if they get 50, 100 people apply, it they narrow it down by looking at who's got that. So I do think that everyone listening out here, I agree with that. That even though, like you said, in your career right now, they're probably not relevant because of the position you've got yourself in. If you're starting out, they are important, and if you can do them, definitely look into them. Um, and what about skill set then? I mean, for someone listening to this who might be sitting here thinking, you know what, I'm thinking about going into cybersecurity. Uh, I'm listening to this podcast because I'm curious. I wonder what skills do I have skills that I needed to be good at this field? And do you think there are any skills out there that someone can have um, that really align well with cybersecurity?
Okay, I'll break this into two parts. One, the technical skills. So for technical skills, what I would say is that people should look at the area of cybersecurity they're interested in. They should look at the jobs that are in those areas and look at the technical skills that are required to thrive in those jobs. They should compare that with their current technical skills and identify the gaps that still exist. I mean, it's not really cast in stone for every job, but you can at least see like a common ground. For example, a job that is saying that we need someone who is experienced in assessing vulnerabilities, assessing risk, something like that. Somebody who can conduct penetration testing and so on. If you see those kind of skills across boards in the jobs that you're looking at, and you don't have those skills, then you know that these gaps still exist. You need to build your skills to be able to compete for these opportunities. Otherwise, you may not be able to get those kind of opportunities if that's your area of cybersecurity. If your interest is in GRC, for example, and you're saying things like
Mhm.
somebody who can develop policies, who can conduct risk assessments, manage vulnerabilities, conduct security audit, and so on, and you don't have those skills, it means that you need to still do some more work to sharpen your skills to be able to compete for those opportunities. Now, let's talk about soft skills. Soft skills are very important. And I always say that for me personally, I would hire someone who has strong soft skills and no technical skills. And I've done that before to work with me. And I would teach them and train them the technicalities. I don't mind. I preferred the soft skills to the technical skills. Why? Because I can't teach anyone soft skills. If you don't communicate and you're doing cybersecurity, you're going to waste everybody's time. I can't teach you that. I can if you communicate, it will be easy for me to teach you the technical skills and you can get it in no time. And those skills will stay with you. So for me personally, I would take someone who has those soft skills and build the technical skills for them. So my advice is that people should have great soft skills. And these things are things that we pick from everywhere. Our day-to-day interaction with people, we communicate. Our day-to-day work with people, we collaborate. We are required to present from time to time. We're expected to pay attention to details. We're expected to have good work ethics, integrity, and so on. So these are day-to-day skills that we can pick up, and it's very important in cybersecurity. And I always say that I would choose soft skills again over technical skills because I know that a lot of people they can learn the technical skills in no time. For example, if you join my mentorship, in no time you can pick up those technical skills and learn it. So now imagine if you have strong soft skills, then you are ready to compete with other people because of these skills. So that for me, those are the things that are very important in cybersecurity. Combination of your technical and your soft skills. But like I always say, your soft skills is key
Yeah.
because your soft skills will keep you on that job.
I'm so glad you said that. I couldn't agree more. And everyone listening, that's such an important point. Soft skills. It's another area that doesn't get looked into enough. Everyone's focus is so much on learning networks, learning the technical side. What do I need to do? All these different areas where that's great. But as you said, you can learn that with enough study. You can learn that. But I try and explain to people about soft skills, and particularly if I'm preparing them for interviews, is if you're a cybersecurity analyst or you're working in the business, you will need to liaise with other stakeholders in that business who aren't technical at all. They might not have any idea about cybersecurity. And if you can't get across to them what's the problem is or how you're going to fix it or whatever, that's not going to work. So I'm so glad that you've brought that up because it is such an important part for everyone to learn that soft skills, communication, and being able to liaise with other people in the business who you got to remember people just because you're a cybersecurity, you think that way. Half the three quarters of the business won't think that way. So you need to be able to do that. And that's something you obviously do a lot in your mentor program. You talk
Yeah.
through that a
So
lot.
combination of technical and soft skills. Soft skills because they get to work in a team, collaborate with other people, but the technical skills they also get that. So in my mentorship, they get an opportunity to learn the combination of the technical skills that are required in cybersecurity and also the soft skills that are needed to thrive in the field.
Okay. What about home labs? Now, this is something that I wanted to pick your brain on. Building projects, or having building that home lab, showing off your skills from a technical perspective, that when you come to interview or when you come to speak to hiring managers about what you can actually do, it's not just, hey, I've passed this certification, I've got this technical skills. It's actually been able to show them physical proof. What is your thoughts on building a portfolio in a home lab? And is it something you talk to your students about?
That's a very good question. I would say that it's actually important to build a portfolio or home lab in cybersecurity, especially if you are just starting out and you are still building your skills. You've not gotten an opportunity yet. You need something to showcase to people to say that, look, I've done this, I'm skilled in this, I'm knowledgeable in this. Using your home lab as a way to practice, as a way to gain the practical skills that you need is very important in this
Mm.
instance. And I want to say that it's very important for people to think about it. Work on projects. You can work on projects as a group. I've seen people come to me to say that I don't know what to do, but you've joined communities and you don't know what to do. Pick people from these communities that you are joining, 2, 3, 4 people who are like-minded like you. Work on projects together. I mean, things are really soft now compared to when people like us started. 2013, there was no chat GPT, there was
No.
no co-pilots, and all of those tools that we are seeing right now. We didn't have them in 2013. So we couldn't, it wasn't easy for us to, just put something and say, please refine this for me, please create this project for me, and
Mm.
all of that. But people can do that now. So
No.
you can you can use these tools to create a project. You don't have to wait until you have a mentor that is giving you a project and things like that. These tools can help and you can work with people. Create, I need a project that can help me to develop policies for a financial organization of 30 to 50 employees or 50 to 100 employees. I want the policy to cover key areas like information classification, information security, AI policies, and things like that. And when you drop that prompt, the tool would give you something solid that you can work with. And then you
Yeah.
can update your CV to say, I created a project, I created policies for a financial organization, and you put the policies that you've worked on and things like that. So
Yeah.
things are stopped now compared to even when I started out, a lot of these learning resources were not available. So it was just a case of we are learning on the go, we are learning on the fly. But people have a lot of resources now that they can tap into. Some of the TryAcme, for example, has different rooms that you can see and practice. So if
Yeah.
you're not using your home lab, for example, you can, if you have some of those subscriptions, even without some of those subscriptions, you can still have some free practice that you can do. And these things, these resources would give you those hands-on
Mm.
experience that is very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so true. So this, and you got capture the flags, you've got so many different things out there you can get involved in. Um, what about coding? This is another question that I get asked a lot. They said, Luke, do I need to know coding to get into cybersecurity? Now, I know that's a question you can go many different routes down, but I'm sure it's a question you may have been asked. What's your answer to that? Do you need to know how to code if you're looking to break into cybersecurity?
That's a very good question. And I would answer it from two perspective or two areas. First, I would say that not everyone in cybersecurity codes. That's the first thing. For me personally, the last time I wrote a line of code was 2009 when I was in the
There you go.
university. I graduated in the university in the year 2009. And that was the last time, if I remember clearly, that I wrote a line of code. I've never been a fan of programming. I've never liked it. I mean, I
Mhm.
tried my best to understand it, to like it, and all of that, but I've never really been a fan of it. So I do not code. But am I in the
There you
field? Yes, I am in the field. Do you need to code to be successful? I don't think so, because if I want to classify myself now, I would classify myself as a successful person, and I'm not coding to be relevant in the field or to be successful. But is it nice if you can code? Is it good if you can code? The answer is yes. In fact, it's an extra advantage for people who can code, because you can get to the point where you can even use that to do some scripting, automate things easily. Also get to the point where you're able to do things around secure code reviews, understanding the code. You're trying to break into something, being able to review those codes is also very important. So
Yeah.
it's an advantage for those people. Also, there are some job opportunities that people who can code can get good offers and tap into that. So if you can code, it's a good thing for you. I will never downplay the fact that people who know how to code can get things done better in cybersecurity and
Yeah.
can be at an advantage. But what I would say is that if you can't code, if you're like me, who doesn't code, don't say because you don't code, you don't want to do cybersecurity, or you are scared you will not thrive or something like that. Don't be scared. But if you can code, it's a good advantage for you. Then come into the field and it's also an opportunity to do lots of things in the field.
Yeah. Useful, but not essential. I think it's like, don't
Yeah,
don't spend your time learning to code just because you want to get into cybersecurity. I think that's the message there.
yeah.
It's useful
But
to
if you
have.
get in and you want to code, and that's
Yeah.
also okay. That's fine.
Especially with tools these days, like you say, with AI, which we'll get into more in a second. But ChatGPT, you've got Grok, you've got Claude, all these different coding tools that essentially make a non-programmer a programmer now. Now,
Yeah.
and there's all these. It's only going to become more prevalent as we go on. But in terms of let's say for people breaking into cybersecurity, they've got their basic certifications. They're at a point where they understand, they feel they're ready for a entry level role, and what route do they go down? And there's so many different avenues, and we can't cover them all in this call. But um, something I'm seeing a lot in the market is, um, you know, cloud security, and I think it's personally an area it is busy and it's going to continue to grow. Um, is there anything you want to add to that in terms of, are there any particular areas you advise people to go down, or is it more choose where your skills are or where your passion is? Um, what's your thoughts on choosing what area to go into?
Well, I would say for me, I don't really advise people to go into any particular area. Although, like you said, there are some areas that are growing and evolving right now. But the most important thing is, where does your interest lie? Cybersecurity is very broad. When you are coming in, it's important to do your own research. What area in cybersecurity will I want to be in? Because, like I said, it's very broad. It's better to specialize as quick as possible. I mean, it's good to understand every aspect, but be a specialist in one as quick as you can, and then you can branch out to do other things as you want. Different areas, governance, risk and compliance. For governance, risk and compliance, I always say that it's an area that will always be in demand because organizations will always be mandated to comply to best practice standards and frameworks. As a result of that, they will need people in the governance, risk and compliance space to support them to achieve those requirements. So this is an area that would always be in demand. I would say that also cloud security, like you mentioned, the cloud, it's evolving currently. A lot of organizations are moving to the cloud. There are a lot of cloud services out there, different things around cloud, and lots of applications are now on the cloud, software as a service. So what are we saying in essence? It means that if you have those kind of skills in cloud security, that could pose as an advantage for you. Also looking at, the location where you are, how easy is it for you to get an opportunity in this field in your location and so on. So these are areas and a lot of other areas. The SOC analyst area is also evolving right now. A lot of organizations need people in the SOC to support them in the SOC to do a lot of things about that. So people are also learning these skills, have an advantage of getting opportunities. And of course, not to leave out the guys that are the ethical hackers, always in demand again to also meet compliance needs in a lot of cases. So what am I saying in essence? Any area in cybersecurity that you choose, I think for me personally, I believe 100% that all of the areas currently, there's still a high demand for them because we have not gotten to that point that we would say we have enough skills in cybersecurity, we have enough people in cybersecurity. So there's still high demand for any area that people are choosing to go into in the field of cybersecurity.
Yeah, yeah, really good. I agree completely. That's good to hear. So you mentioned then about that demand. Now, what does the future of cybersecurity look like for you? And I'm mentioning that in the fact that we're in a very extremely interesting time that we're all living at the moment with AI. And whether people like it or not, AI is here and it's coming fast. And it is only going to become bigger, a lot more prevalent, and it's going to affect everyone in a certain degree. So, what's your thoughts on the future of cybersecurity and bringing into that with AI? So, how does AI align with cybersecurity, and where do you see the field going?
Okay, that's a very good question. I would say that just like you said, my take is that everybody should embrace AI because, like you rightly said, AI is here to stay. It's not a case of I don't like AI, I don't want to use AI. No, that's not the case. Whether you like it or not, AI is going to stay. It's going to move very fast. It's even going to evolve. A lot of things will change because of AI. So for me, I think the future of cybersecurity, there's a role that AI has to play in that future. And what that means is that a lot of things will change, even the way we see the attacks in the coming years would change. The kind of attacks that we would see in the coming years would also change. The type of roles that we would also see in the coming years would also change. Some new roles may spring up, some roles may no longer exist. So people should, begin to think about what is innate for me. What can I tap into? Can I move along quickly with what is going on? What are the skills that I need to build? What are the opportunities that can come my way and all of that? Don't shy away from the use of AI. A typical example, you see people trying to use AI tools, the basic tools to revamp a lot of things, their thoughts and all that. And then you see other people coming for them saying that they used AI. For me, I don't see anything wrong in anybody using AI tools because the tools are not designed for fashion, they are designed to be used. So I believe that people should tap into the use of AI, but understand the usage and the use from an ethical perspective. How can we, tap into this even for cybersecurity? How can we use this to improve the work that we do currently? What are the things that we need to look out for? Because, like you rightly said, that's the future of cybersecurity. People who are learning currently should also be thinking about AI. What are the things I can begin to learn as it relates to cybersecurity when it comes to AI? What are the kind of attacks that we are now seeing? Basic research to even understand those kind of attacks, how it happens, and all of that. How can we determine now that, for example, a typical example I give is that few months ago, I think just sometimes this year, a video was posted on Instagram, series of videos actually, like 6 or 7, and every of those videos were AI generated.
Mm,
But one interesting thing in the comment section of those videos was that people were saying that these faces in the video seems to be familiar to them. There are people that they must have seen or come across one time or the other in their life. But every of those videos were AI generated. Now, what is the implication of that? That kind of video can be used for a cyber attack because you will think that it is real, but it is a fake video.
yep,
That's a basic implication of that. So these are the things that we need to prepare our mind for. And as a cybersecurity person, you have to begin to think ahead. Think outside of the box. So what does this mean for you? What does it mean for your organization? What are the things that you can do? And how can you stay ahead of these kind of things? What can you do to improve yourself, your organization, and so on? So it's not, it's just here to stay. There are so many things that would happen just because there is AI and we need to embrace it.
yep. That's right. Everyone listening to this, if you're still on the fence about AI and you don't want to use it, stop, because it really is here. And another thing I'd tell you, think of it from this perspective. If you're going for an interview, imagine if you can go up to that hiring manager and you start talking about how you think AI is going to affect the business and how you think you could help with a certain skill that AI can offer that can help that business as well. And my point is here, by thinking outside the box, you can separate yourself from other candidates. So, if someone's sitting there and they're not talking about AI and you've got someone else who's talking about the future and how AI is going to affect it, how do you think that hiring manager's going to react to that? They're going to like that forward thinking. So it is here. It is here to stay. It's only going to become more prevalent. It's only going to become more impactful in everyone's job. So embrace it and use it. And that's really the advice I would give there. Um, just one more question on that. Do you think, in your opinion, it's gonna, people are worried about this. Would jobs be lost, do you think, in cybersecurity because of AI?
That's a very interesting question. Will jobs be lost because of AI? It can go both ways. New jobs may spring up because of AI, and of course, we're already seeing that. And some jobs may be lost, possibly, because I would not say rightly because of AI, but just because of um the advancement that we are seeing, or the
Yeah.
sophistication that we are seeing in the technology space, in cybersecurity and so on. It is possible for some jobs to be lost. There's a possibility. However, I think more jobs would actually spring up, which is like a benefit. It's an advantage because there are so many things that organizations would want to explore. There are so many spaces they want to play in and all of that. And that may open up a lot of opportunities for people. So that's why I'm also saying that people should tap into AI. What are the things that they can learn? What are the things that they can do with it? How can they use it to their advantage? I mean, you made mention of something interesting. And I think I attended an event where someone also corroborated the same thing, where you know, previously you can say, I don't like to code, I'm a non-programmer. But with the use of AI tools, you can code in less than 5 minutes. So you don't need to be a programmer now to code anymore. That's that's the use of AI. You don't need to
Incredible.
be a programmer. Very incredible. A
You've
lot
got
of
vibe coding.
even
People
to
are vibe coding.
even to create policies.
Yeah.
In the past, we were creating policies, we were racking our brain to put a policy together. But now you put a prompt, give me an incident response plan or an incident management policy that covers A, B, C, D, E. In less than 2 minutes, you get a standard policy.
I know. I
Standard.
know. And this is only gonna get this is still early days. It's only gonna get
So,
better. It's incredible. And people are
yeah,
building apps now. People are building businesses who have never
yeah,
coded a line in their life. So
yeah.
it
That's it.
it
And
it's
a lot
incredible.
of a lot of opportunities would also spring up because of that. We're also seeing AI, a lot of AI establishments coming up. And of course,
Yeah.
security is a very important part of any business. So definitely there'll be more opportunities in the security space as regards that. So that, like I said, people with the right skills will stand out. So
That
the
they
question,
will.
main question is, what are you doing to stand out? Because you don't want to be left behind. You don't want to be pushed aside. You don't want to go to an interview and they say, "Can you tell me a recent cyber attack in relation to AI?" And you're looking lost. You
Yeah.
want to stay prepared. You want to be able to, aim for opportunities and get this opportunity. So I think the most important thing is that there will be jobs, but
Yeah.
the jobs would only come to people who are prepared and ready for it.
That's right. You need to add value. That's just, if there's an AI out there that can do the same job, but if you can add more value, you will get hired. And it really is a tip. Everyone listening to this, yeah, I really believe this, that the people that can, use AI and talk about AI, have a look at recent news articles. Has the business been attacked by AI? Has there been any breaches? Any of this information can just make you stand out, because I hear a lot of people out there often say there's not enough roles. There are roles out there. There are roles. And I hear people say I've had 10 interviews in a row and I haven't got a job yet. Now there's various reasons for that. And obviously, we'd have to look at the specific example, but it could be down to the fact that some other candidate has just added or come across that they can add that little bit more value. So think about these areas that where how you can stand out. And AI is a perfect opportunity because not everyone's doing it yet. So start talking about it, start researching it. Okay, now look, we could sit here all day. I've got so much stuff I'd love to talk to you about, but in the essence of time, I want to move on just to finish with a few quick fire questions, if that's okay with you. Um, I think so far we've covered so much useful things about how to get into cybersecurity, some of the future of cybersecurity, talked about AI, but um, maybe we can have another chat down the line at some point. We can cover some other topics, but I've got I want to answer a few quick questions that I think the audience would like to hear. Um, and get your thoughts on them. Okay. So, What's one skill you wish every cybersecurity professional had?
What's one skill I wish
Yeah,
every
I'll
it
put you on
could
the
be
spot
any
a bit
skill,
here.
like, it could
Any
be any.
skill. Yeah, just a fun and quick round at the end, just to ask you some questions to see what comes to mind.
So for me personally, and I've said this already on this call, every cybersecurity professional should have communication skills. Every, there's no exception. Whether
Yep,
you're in cloud, you're in GRC, you're in pen testing, whatever it is, threat intelligence, SOC, anything at all that you're doing in cybersecurity, for you to stand out, you must have great communication skills. You can't write a report and you're unable to communicate it. You can't work in an organization and you are unable to communicate. I mean, your job is of no use to anyone without communication.
yep, yep. There you have it. Okay. Now, if you is there a one book, a podcast, or a resource that you could recommend for anyone who's looking to enter the field? What has anything come to mind?
So I would say a book that was written by my friend. Shout out to I Slim Fits. It's also on X. I think I can't say the full title, but the start of that book is Tech Pathways,
Mhm.
which is a good book for people looking to start in this field. It shows it says a lot around starting your career in the tech space, how you can gain visibility, and a lot of other important things that people can pick. I think the book is on Amazon. For people looking to get a copy. And my mentees in this current cohort, I mean, it's the start for this current cohort that I have currently. They reviewed the entire chapters of the book, and I'm also looking at my new mentees who are coming on board to also do the same because as you continue to build your career in this space, it's important for you to also read books and
Yep.
not just read books, but books that would be valuable to you, that would add something to you.
Great. Everyone check that out. I'll see if I can get the full name of that book after and I'll put it in the description below. But that sounds like a great resource for you to have. Next one. What do you think is the most underrated role in cybersecurity right now? Anything come to mind?
Most underrated role in cybersecurity.
Mm, mm.
For me personally, no bias. I would say it's GRC. That's the
Yep.
most underrated role in cybersecurity. And why am I saying GRC? Because the GRC role cuts across every aspect of cybersecurity, whether we like it or not. A lot of things that happens within this cybersecurity space could be because the organization does not have the presence of a GRC person in place in that organization. So I believe that's one of the most important roles that every organization has to think about, have to consider. And it to me, that's the most underrated role in cybersecurity.
Yeah. And anyone who might be listening, GRC, governance, risk, compliance. So, um, just in case anyone was unsure there. But yeah, that's really interesting. Okay. Well, look, thank you. Like I say, we really enjoyed this conversation. I feel there's so much more we could talk about, but thank you so much for being part of this. Um,
Thank you.
what I'll do is I'm going to drop all your details below in the description, but just tell everyone again how, if they're not aware of you or haven't been following you, how do they follow you? Where do they go? Let everyone know now if you can.
Okay, LinkedIn, Dr. Iretioluwa on LinkedIn. On X, that's Twitter, and Instagram, my handle there is Ireteeh. So it's just another fancy way to call my first name. Same thing with TikTok, actually. So X, Instagram, and TikTok is the same name. Ireteeh. I also have a YouTube channel, Learning with Dr. Ireti. I mean, I've not been able to upload anything for a while, but I'm going to pick that up very soon. So for people who are looking to, get into the field, pick some knowledge, I mean, subscribe to my YouTube channel, watch some of the videos that I've posted. So these are the places that I'm very active. And for community-based communication, most times it's Slack. I mean, people who are in my communities know that they can always reach out to me on Slack. So most times for those community-based interaction, it's done on Slack and of course sometimes Telegram.
Yeah. Look, I highly recommend everyone. to follow. There'll be so much useful information you'll gain. Um, Subscribe to her YouTube channel. I'll leave it all in the show notes in the description below. And look, if there's any questions that you've I haven't asked or we haven't discussed, drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. And and we can go from there. But make sure you do drop them below. And look, thank you so much for your time again today. It's been great. Maybe we'll do this again down the line, but I appreciate it.
Thank you so
And,
much. It's nice to do this with you.
and if everyone who's watching, hope you've enjoyed this, you found it useful. Remember to subscribe to the channel. And as always, keep leveling up your career. And I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks.